Welcome. How's everybody doing? Interesting day. I mean, in terms of the stock market, it kind of felt like Friday, except like less crazy, if that makes sense. Like on Friday, for an example, if you remember, there was a bad open. Then there was a few kind of weird hours. You moved up a little bit. Then you had a nice move, towards the end of the day. That was kind of what happened today. It was a little bit off, but and a lot less crazy. But pretty similar, timing of the market during the day. And then at the end of everything, the NASDAQ closed down 0.60%. The S&P closed down like 0.9%, 0.09%. QQQ was like flat. Right now I'm looking at the stock futures, and they're also pretty flat, both the S&P futures and the NASDAQ. So hope everybody had a decent day. Let me put down my mic a little bit. Hopefully that's better. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I think I put out 8 new trades today. And I'll kind of go over, why I did that. Maybe I shouldn't have, maybe I should have, or maybe it was good that I did. Time will tell. But I'll go over my whole entire thought process. I'll go over the trades that I did put out. And I'll go over the market as well. Just starting off with Bitcoin. It's back in this upsloping channel. You can call it a rising wedge, whatever you want to call it. It's still pretty early on. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of 5 touches here. So we'll see. But nice rally today. I think there was some sort of a catalyst in the morning or something with, can't remember who it was. I don't want to say the wrong. There was some sort of catalyst. Somebody helped me out with Bitcoin today. I think it was like some payment processor. I'm just forgetting which company it was, and I don't want to say the wrong one. But yeah, I mean, I had a pretty good day, and it's back in the channel. Really not much divergence, except on the daily, you do have some hidden bullish divergence on the RSI. So that's your divergence I do see. Yeah, it was Visa. Yeah. So, maybe it wasn't Bitcoin, it was Ethereum. Yeah, just look into it. Definitely crypto had a pretty good move. Looking at the 4-hour, you still have some potential hidden bearish divergence unless you break above 60K. If you break above 60K, then that will be invalidated on Bitcoin. All right. Now let's move over to the S&P 500 index. It was kind of a little bit all over the place, but ended up pretty flat to close things out, which I think it's better than red. After everything last week, you were able to hold the majority of the gains that we made on Friday during Power Hour. If you remember last Friday during Power Hour, huge move, and that was all kind of being signaled in the Discord on Friday afternoon, like right before it happened, when it was at this make or break area. And you were able to hold the gain. So you even went a little bit higher, then you went a little bit lower. At the end of it all, you kind of closed around the same price you closed last week. So that's really what happened. In terms of the levels on the S&P, you're right around all-time highs. And I know it might not feel like that for a lot of stocks, right? The S&P is pretty much at all-time highs, and like so many stocks were down today and in the last week. But the title of the stream is Market Distribution Continues. We're getting distribution from the NASDAQ, which was performing very, very well up until a few weeks ago, or maybe like a month ago. And now the NASDAQ's just not heavily, but the NASDAQ is underperforming the S&P 500 like almost every single day. So the S&P is continuing to do well, but it doesn't really reflect all stocks. Again, the S&P consists of 500, I believe. So the NASDAQ's different stocks, And yeah, the S&P itself, if you can break over 39.81, that would pretty much be around you need to break 39.85 to get a new all-time high. But if you really break this top orange line, I'm thinking your next place to go will be 4,000. That's just the next logical resistance. But I don't really see any divergence anywhere, so not too much of an edge on the S&P. However, as long as you can hold above 39.28, you're good. Right, but until your next support, you are, I think, 1% away. Yeah, you're about 1% away from your next major support on the S&P. So there, of course, is some room for up and down movement. But I think tomorrow's a very, very big day for the market. I want to be bullish. I kind of am a little bit bullish, but again, having a bias is okay, but you can't let that mess with your trades, right? You have to wait to see what things actually look like. So I'm still bullish biased, but of course, I'm not going to be surprised if you have another red day, whatever it is. I'm just talking about the S&P right now, right? Because the S&P has been doing very well. It's in a bull trend. You're making higher lows still, right? Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and a higher low. And if you remember, like last week on stream, when you were right over here, I was saying you could probably back test the support and then bounce there, and that's exactly what happened on the S&P, and you've been bouncing for 2 days. On the flip side though, the NASDAQ, it did have 2 good days, but it's still just underperforming the S&P 500. And sure, we can take a look at the VIX, Nicholas. So I'm still, the NASDAQ's okay because you're back above 13,000. I really like how you closed 2 consecutive days over 13,000 on the NASDAQ. That's pretty strong to me. Of course, you only have 60 points of breathing room, but as long as you're above 13,000, I'm very comfortable with the market if NASDAQ can hold that, okay? And then likewise on the QQQ, if you can hold 311, I'm very comfortable. But of course, that still means that there is a bunch of room just until your major support, 1.5% room just to go and test your support again. So just keep that in mind. Doesn't mean it's going to be a straight line up. I don't like calling things and predicting too crazy. I just use probabilities to see what variables are being shown and try and use that for some trades, right? So those are all the indices. Talked about Bitcoin as well. We can look at a few other things. The VIX continuing to hold this 19.6 support, this orange line. And unfortunately, there is some classic bullish divergence on the daily. So we'll see if this plays out. Yeah, you'd probably want this to go under 19 to feel a little bit more comfortable, but things are okay for now, even though this was up, what, 10% today? And then let's look at the dollar. Typically, this is not good for crypto or equities, but the dollar, again, I've been showing this since the beginning of the year. You broke out of the falling wedge. Now you also broke over the 200-day moving average. And it looks like your next major resistance is like 94. Of course, if it does get there, it's going to take a while, but just wanted to bring that up as well. We took take a look at the US 10-year yields. They're just fighting this resistance. I think you also have some bearish divergence that was playing out, but pretty much this is like your resistance line. So just put in US 10Y on your charting program, and you could probably just see if it ever breaks over this resistance, take caution, but as long as you're under it, it's fine. And yeah, that's the US 10-year. So hopefully all of that just gives you some, sort of an idea of the levels of the market before we get into individual stocks. But futures are still flat. Bitcoin's not moving too much right now. I have alerts set up. If futures do start moving or if Bitcoin moves, we're going to be able to know. But yeah, that kind of recaps the macro. Now we'll start talking about some trades and stuff like that. But I put out, I believe, 3 trades for like everybody in the Discord today. And I think I put out 4 or 5 trades for the premium members. So a lot of trades. Why was I putting out so many trades today? Well, of course, I did the homework over the weekend. I was scanning on Saturday night for a couple hours. Found a bunch of things that looked pretty good. I think maybe it was Scrooge or someone who requested a great ticker last night that I also liked going into today. But yeah, I put out a lot of trades this morning, and that's not something I'm going to be doing every single day this week. I'm trying to, you can never perfectly time the market like consistently. It's going to be tough to do that, but you can try your best. And that's what I was kind of doing, had a bunch of trade ideas going into the week, and you had a red open. So I was figuring that I'm going to put out these trades right now at the beginning of the week rather than doing one by one every single, couple of days. Because they were all pulling back in the morning. So I was trying to catch the dip on a lot of those trades with the pullback. And you can still manage your risk on whatever trades you're currently in by just looking at the levels on the indices, right? So that's what I'm kind of more comfortable with, rather than trying to put out a few batches of trades every other day. I feel like maybe putting them out together when the market already is having a red day might work out better. And then you just manage your risk by watching the indices throughout the week, right? Just let them work out or not. We'll see what happens, but that's that. And yeah, we can talk about the individual trades in a second here. A lot of the trades that were ongoing from last week into this week, yeah, they pulled back some. So we can just look at the sheet real quick. Let me down my brightness. All right, let me go to the other screen. So yeah, it's all right. Pretty much all of these trades. So these trades over here, this whole entire bottom batch, these were already like ongoing trades from prior weeks. Again, last week was my worst week in 5 months. Like very rarely would I ever have a week that bad. This was the second worst week, but it was still net positive because these winning trades like crushed it. But most of the weeks, very nice and consistent. And yeah, this week, you know, these trades were already from last week. They're already down coming into the week. So really it's these trades right over here. Not all of them. I think there's a few of them that are also ongoing, but these are, you know, like 8 of these are new trades from like today. So yeah, I mean, you can see there's a bunch of premium ones. And then I put out HASI, KURA, and then GNPX today for everybody. I think GNPX, it was super weird. It was showing on Webull, TD Ameritrade, and Google that it was up like 6% after hours. And then I checked back like at 8 p.m. and it was pretty much flat after hours. I don't know if it was like glitched out or what it was, but it was showing in 3 different places that it was up and then went back down. So not too sure there. And yeah, we'll see. You know, pretty much I'd say all of these trades are still around their entries. These ones are down a decent amount, but they're not stopped out yet. And then these trades, again, they were from last week. They were like inches away from getting stopped out coming into today. Of course, with the red open and stopped out, but Tesla went way lower after getting stopped out. Fisker went way lower after getting stopped out this morning. Probably like a whole entire, I think another 5 or 6%. And I didn't actually look at VLDR after it stopped out. But yeah, that's like the recap. We'll see a lot of ongoing trades. Hopefully, if the market does nicely, we can get some good gains over here. I think one of the premium trades was also up, I think 5 or 6% after hours. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Let's get back to the charts. Okay. All right, so start looking at some individual stocks. We'll start off with CCIV. Though I think it was CCIV. We'll start off with the worst 2 from today. These were ongoing trades coming into the week. CCIV down 7%. You got to be joking me. It looked so good, but again, that's the part of risk management. No matter how good something looks, sometimes the market's just not going to be in a good place, and individual stocks are going to just fall, right? And that's really what happened with both CCIV and DCPH. They were both down like 7% today. They're not new trades. They've been around for like, I think, a week or 2 now. Well, actually, CCIV was from like 2 days ago, so no, never mind about that. But yeah, just unfortunate. You're still holding $21 on CCIV. As long as you hold $21 on CCIV, you're good. But of course, it's not nice, you know, being down like that. Fortunately, you're not continuing to develop that divergence for now on the daily or on the 4-hour. And then the 1-hour hidden bullish divergence is like long gone. So you're just literally hoping for a bounce. I mean, you're in a bounce area. You bounced at this area like 1, 2, 3. This could be your potential 4th time bouncing off of this area. But of course, you have to wait for confirmation. Then DCPH, this is a very long-term trade. It was up and then it was down and then it was up. It's just going all over the place. Again, it's a very long-term trade. But you're right, again, just like CCIV, you're right around support. You want to hold $40 and you're right above that for now. Then let's go over the 3 trades I put out for everybody today. They're all pretty much around the entry still. HASI is the first one. It's like a sustainable, renewable energy or whatever, solar, wind, energy company. Yeah, you got some bullish convergence on the daily. You're over the $52 support, and then it's pretty close to breaking the supply line. So if you just go sideways, you could probably eventually break out. Yeah, so I put it out. Looks pretty interesting. Been in a very nice uptrend, just correcting with the market. And now it looks like it's at a support area. So it's really that simple. See if it plays out. It's a 4% loss if it doesn't work out. And it breaches that $52 support. Next one, GNPX. Also right around the entry. Apparently it was saying again, like around like 5 or 6 p.m. it was saying it was up 6% after hours, and then a couple hours later it says that it was flat. So I'm not too sure what happened there. But you were developing the hidden bullish divergence coming into the week. Unfortunately, with the market pullback, you're not currently doing that. So hopefully you can just get back above the 420. It's really like this. It's like, yeah, 420. You're pretty much close right around support. So you want to have a good open tomorrow on this new trade. You do not want to breach this support, okay? And then the third one was KURA. This one's also right around the entry. This one has a lot of divergence, okay? You have 4-hour and daily classic bullish divergence on your MACD and on your RSI. So see it over here on the daily. Then I think it's already confirmed on your 4-hour. So, and you're in a falling wedge. You even bounced off of almost $24, so it's not perfect, which used to be a resistance over here. So probably move it up a bit. You got pretty close to it. It looks like you also just really bounced off the demand line of this falling wedge. So, I mean, if I really zoom in, I don't know if it's going to be gappy, but yeah. Kind of looks like an inverse head and shoulders on the 1 hour as well. So I just noticed that. And those are the 3 new trades. PGRE I put out at the end of last week was pretty flat today. I think the trade's still up a few percent. I think it's up like 2 or 3% still. Maybe it's on the 4 hour. Let's see. Yeah, it's still up like 3% or 2.5%. Your hidden bullish divergence is continuing to develop, so that's nice. You just want to get over 1050 because if you can get over 1050, there's not a lot of resistance until the targets. Okay. Then RBA. Right at the entry, this trade's been out for a couple weeks now. Just trying to hold on to that 200-day moving average, but you're okay for now. Not too much to update there. VISL down 2.5% today. This trade's down like 11%. It did go up like 2% after hours, but hopefully, if you were watching the streams or if you're in the Discord, I did warn about this hidden bearish divergence like last week, and that's just looks like it's been playing out. Even though this trade was up like 12% at one point. Zoom is like inches away from getting stopped out. This trade was up 5% at one point and the market volatility just messed with it. You're like $5 away from the stop level. So again, you're just hoping for a day tomorrow. Futures are still flat, just down a little bit right now. And then Fisker fell a lot today. We'll see. You know, I tweeted this out I think a week or two ago. I've gone over it on stream. You have another potential butterfly on Fisker. Remember the first one, Fisker went 3x off of the PCZ or the D point. And that was, you know, that trade like literally financially and also just from, you know, got me a lot of followers and people watching the stream because back then, you know, people were down really bad on Fisker. You know, when it was at $9, the average costs were like at like $14. And I was just, you know, this random guy with like 300 followers saying, oh my gosh, it's so bullish, it's so bullish. And then a crazy, crazy run. And you're showing the same exact pattern right over here. So it's crazy how you showed this pattern, then you had a crazy run after it. Then you showed a Wyckoff accumulation range, you had a crazy run after it, and now you're showing another butterfly. So my favorite stock fundamentally, literally since it was created, has 3 like advanced patterns showing up: a butterfly, then a Wyckoff schematic, and then another butterfly. It's like a butterfly sandwich, and the meat in the middle is a Wyckoff pattern. It's like crazy. But you're showing another butterfly on Fisker. I mean, if you need to get down to, I think like 1544 or something around there to get to the 1618 PCZ, and there's a bunch of different PCZ, so that's just the first one. But I really think if you get down to 1540, at a PCZ of a butterfly, you're right over the 200-day moving average. You can still show hidden bullish divergence on the daily and on the 4 hour. And you're also, it's pretty easy to manage your risk because you'd be above this major support from the Wyckoff range, which is like 1455. So that could be pretty nice trade for like a long-term movement if you get there. You know, you're still a whole entire dollar above that. So who knows? You did kind of get close. You went down to 1594. You're like 50 cents away. But just crazy what this has done. We'll see if it happens again. All right. See if another crazy play happens again on Fisker. I'm wearing the hat right now. I just remembered that. So that's Fisker. And yeah, with all that, we've pretty much covered Bitcoin, futures, the indices, individual trades, the volatility index, the dollar, the 10-year yields within what? 20 minutes. So hopefully those 20 minutes were useful. I don't know how I just got through all those things so quickly, but I did. And I haven't even really talked to the chat and stuff. So let me take a look at the chat. Make sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying the analysis. Hit that subscribe button as well. If you want to send me a tip, that's the pinned chat. If you want to join premium alerts, that's the first link in the description. All right. Appreciate all the support. Hoping for a good week. What's up, Leo? That's what's saying. Weird it's up so much and SPY was only down a little bit. Yeah, the VIX, you know, there's a bunch of different things. I think the Russell was down a lot, and obviously the NASDAQ was down today. Didn't like the Dow Jones have a good day? Check. What's the... I could probably just type this in. PGI. Yeah, this was up like 0.30%. So Russell. I don't even know if that's the right one. I think it's IWM, right? Yeah, the Russell was down like 3%. Dow Jones was up like 1/3%. So a lot of different, again, you know, it's the title of the stream, distribution, right? Different places of the market are hot, and then other places are not so hot, you know? That's just how it is during the distribution cycle. the money is flowing from other places. And yeah, from like a news standpoint, I think Biden had a speech today. We were obviously talking about the Visa crypto announcement today, and then there was one more thing I want to talk about. What's the name? Like Credit Suisse, or I don't even know how to pronounce it, but there was something that happened with like bad earnings in a hedge fund or whatever. I don't even know exactly what happened, but I think some like hedge fund went bankrupt or something. They got a huge margin call last week, and there's like potential stocks that they might have got a margin called on or some. I'm not a good news source, okay? I'm just saying this off the top of my head. Please do your own research and do not use me as a news source. I'm better with the charts, all right? But hopefully you know what I'm kind of referring to. It was crazy from what I read. And then also the ship that was stuck in the canal or whatever, that one also got, I think the traffic is now flowing now. It's like, I know I'm so bad at telling the news, so I hope you get what I'm trying to say, all right? And yeah. How to pick stocks based on financial statement. I like to see when companies have multiple good earnings in a row, low debt, high revenues, growing user bases. They're like a service. Just good numbers overall. Like just look at their previous reports compared to their current reports. It'll actually most reports it's going to tell you like compared to like the same quarter like a year ago or something. Just compare it and then see how their results and see how a company's particular results relate to another company in the same sector. All right. Price action tells a story of trader psychology. Do you think you could explain the psychology of divergences and why they work? So, I mean, if you're using divergences on the MACD is the moving average convergence divergence, right? So if I just turn on my signal lines, you're going to see your 12 and 26 day moving averages, right? So just like a golden cross, even though it's not like the 50 and the 200, whenever your blue line comes over your orange line, you're going to go from a red island to a green one, right? The short-term moving average is coming over the long-term one, which is a good sign. So that's really the idea there. And then what does the divergence imply? It's kind of like it's giving you a signal besides the actual price of whether something based on one swing low to the next swing low or one swing high to the next swing high, if your current low or current high is being overbought or oversold compared to the last one. Does that make sense? So for an example, okay, I'm just looking at it right over here. You had some hidden bearish divergence, okay? You made a lower high on your price from this high to this one. You made a higher high from this MACD line to this one, right? So what was being implied here? What did the hidden bearish divergence mean? It means that on the second high, there was more momentum. There was more momentum in the stock by the buyers. However, with more momentum, they could not get it to a higher price, which shows that, well, it implies that it implies that this could be creating a drop, right? Hidden divergence implies continuations, classic divergences imply reversals. And then not vice versa, but kind of a similar thing on your RSI, where the RSI is your relative strength index. It'll just tell you if something's overbought or oversold. And then you can compare, one high to the next high or one low to the next low if you're looking for bullish divergence, and then see if your RSI was more oversold or more overbought on that second high or low. So you're basically comparing the last two highs in price or the last two lows in price to see if from one low to the next low, there was more buyers or more momentum or more hype, from the moving averages going into the stock, or vice versa if it's bearish divergences. So hopefully that kind of made sense. And that's kind of my answer for that. And then just like the most simple way to put it with divergences is just telling you if something's overbought or oversold with a reversal or a continuation implication, right? But yeah, just trying to answer some questions. We got 50 people in here right now and only 21 likes. So if you're enjoying the stream, just hit that like button, all right? Might help to grow the channel or not. I don't even know if it actually helps, but it just makes me feel better. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I couldn't even stream last week because things were so laggy for whatever reason, but I think I fixed the issue by lowering my frame rate or whatever I did. I tried out a bunch of random settings and I can stream again. So I'm super happy. Appreciate the likes coming in right now. Yeah, CCIV definitely hanging on by a thread. Just if you want to hold that 21 support and you're barely over it, Hopefully it can bounce tomorrow. Futures are sliding a little bit right now. Futures are down pretty much 0.1%. What else? Hit that subscribe button if you want to join premium alerts. I put out like 4 or 5 premium alerts today. That's the first link in the description. If you want to send me a tip or get some merchandise, that is the pinned chat. And it'll pop up on the screen if you do send a tip or whatever. You can request a ticker, whatever you want to do. But yeah, with all that being said, I think we've covered a lot. Just seeing if there's any more questions. Appreciate that, George. Let me skip this song. Yeah, I feel like we've covered as much as I could. What was that, like half an hour? Almost, yeah. So yeah, let's start looking at some tickers. Let me try and help you out as much as I can. Of course, whatever I say is not financial advice. It's just my opinion on charts. And just remember, a lot of things can override technical, such as news, market conditions, volatility indexes or indices. You know, it's all game probability. Try my best. So yeah, I dropped some tickers. Let's see. What was I gonna do? All right, so I'm gonna start off with BLNK. And we already did look at CCIV. Yeah, when we were going over all the tickers. HFC, FUBO, BN. I don't even. So with FUBO, I know that Viacom just dumped, and I believe that FUBO is like a similar, sector. So I don't know if that's why FUBO fell, or there was I think there was an article that came out that said FUBO might have been one of the other stocks from the hedge fund that got margin called. I don't know the exact reason, but yeah, FUBO just dumped on Friday. A few other stocks. But yeah, let's look at BLNK. Let me just clear up this chart right now. So let's see. Are you still showing? How does the cipher look at this point? I chart it like this. And this is how I charted it. Something like that. It was like around this. Well, regardless of the potential cipher, I don't know. It did look like an inverse head and shoulders, but I'm not sure if it still kind of does. Let's see. Right, your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder. I guess it still does look like an inverse head and shoulders. Nice candle today. Kind of like a bullish pin bar. No divergence on the daily though, or the 4 hours. So I guess if you ever can break this like supply line, yeah, you could get a nice move. EBON, you're kind of in the middle of a range right now. Not a lot of data on the chart, but I think your major support's 521, and you're obviously pretty far from that, but you are developing some hidden bullish divergence on EBON on both the MACD and the RSI on the 4 hour, but no divergence on the daily now, okay? AMD, 74 is a very big support. Literally, probably this simple. As long as you can hold over 74, I think you're good, all right? You hold really like 73.95. Very clear support. You hold that, potential double bottom, some bullish convergence. Yeah, super easy to manage your risk. That's AMD. 74 is the level to look at. HFC, no divergence. Say, oh wow. We were talking about this last night on stream, but why? Why do stocks drop and they randomly just bounce at this place? You have to go back in time. You have to zoom out on your chart on higher time frames and look at the previous resistances or support levels, because they can be your current support and resistance levels. Look at this. Why did this thing fall from $42 down to 34 and then bounce right off of 34? Why? Because it was your resistance right over here, and if we go back in time, it was your resistance right over here on these candles. So you really want to be zooming out, looking at the pivot areas on your charts. And that's your support, 34.13. Hold above that, you're good, but I don't really see much of a structure or divergence. FUBO. There's not a lot of a signal for like a higher time frame, how do I put it? Like a higher time frame swing trade or anything, but you know, it's just, yeah, it got heavily oversold, and we'll see what happens, all right? Just maybe wait for some divergence on higher time frames to put in a swing trade, but of course it is pretty oversold on low time frames, so you never know what can happen, but very, very crazy drop. And I guess your support that you'd want to hold is probably just like your low from today, 2070. EVN. This one's been going pretty wild. I would say your support is $19.80. You also have a mini support at $20.43. Yeah, so like these two white lines is like your support, no divergence on the 4-hour or the daily for right now, okay? Yeah, I'm not gonna really be doing TA on things that are going up multiples. That's just not how I trade. Say it's every single night. WWE. So it's the actual. I used to be a huge WWE fan when I was like 10, 11. Your support 52.53 was your candle high over here and your candle low over here. All right, so that's something interesting. And I don't know, kind of looks like a cup and handle, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, I would say potential cup and handle with some bullish convergence on the 4-hour. Let me, let's see. It's a parallel channel. What am I doing right now? Let's do it from right here. Okay, yeah, potential cup and handle on WWE. If you can break over 59 bucks, you go crazy. I mean, your next resistance after that's probably like $65. So WWE. What else we got here? THCB, very interesting company. You know, they're doing what's it called? Semiconductors, I think, for EVs as well. And a lot of these EV companies are having chip shortages, I believe. So interesting stuff there. What up, Scrooge? FLNT. We already looked at CCIV earlier in the stream. It'll be in the timestamps, and I think timestamps are starting again tonight. We haven't been doing them for a couple weeks. Yeah, we did go over the active trades. BW. Okay. I just got an alert. Looks like NASDAQ futures down a little bit. I think they fell and then they're starting to bounce up some. Let me just set some new alerts in case futures continue moving. So just put another one. 12,900. So HCB. Wait. Oh, I was thinking about something else. Sorry. THCB. What was I thinking about? What's the ticker for that? I was thinking about THBR. Sorry. THCB, I actually don't know anything about this company. Alright? So, forget what I said about the semiconductors on THCB. Harmonic. This is a very crazy wick. That really just throws it off for me, kind of. I guess you could have a potential butterfly here. You use these crazy wicks, but you'd have to go down to like 1063 or something. Pretty decent, not textbook divergence, but you get this lower movement on the MACD, then a little bit higher. Some local divergence potentially on the MACD on the daily. FLNT. Did I ever put out this trade? I don't think I did. I might have put out this trade, but I don't think I did. Hope I did. I don't like how you're under 420. I think you need to get back above 420. Okay, no divergence on the daily or the 4-hour. So 420 is your level you definitely want to get back above. BW, wow, ascending triangle. It broke out on, I think it broke out on Friday, maybe when the market was asleep. And it gapped up today as well, it looks like. So yeah, I mean, look, when you're making higher lows, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 higher lows, that means 5 different times in a row when the price was dropping, it could not drop as much as the previous low, which is showing that people are getting more and more bullish on the stock. They're willing to buy it at a higher price every time it dips. They're accumulating, right? And then you also have a sell wall, right? So when you're creating higher lows and every time you get up to a sell wall, you're rejecting it, what's being displayed to you from a psychological aspect is people are getting more and more bullish, but the sellers, the people that are bearish, are not willing to sell it at higher prices. They're selling it at the same price. So when you have the buyers getting more bullish, but the sellers not getting more bearish, eventually you get to an apex point or your breakout point. And if those buyers can put in more bids than the sellers are putting in asks, that's when you have your breakouts. That's what an ascending triangle represents. And there you go, right? Nice breakout of ascending triangle. Sure, it could easily back test the previous resistance, try and flip it into a support and then go again. You never know. But at this point, usually I'm not a breakout trader. I like entering trades like over here on the demand lines. But really this whole entire zone could be a support, previous resistance, like this whole entire chop area. Let's see. Sia coin? Never heard of that. No, I've never heard of Sia coin. THCB, STMP. I mean, we can look at Sia coin, but I have no clue what that is. So yeah, I have no clue. I don't trade things that look like this typically, but hey, maybe a cup and handle, but it's not really like super textbook, no divergence. I have no clue on that one. I'm sorry. I could see it going either way. STMP, you definitely want to get above 197. If you can break 197, it could see 208. That's your next resistance. All right, but if you can't break 197, your next major support is 177. So you're at this potential make or break area. You break this, you could go higher. Can't break this, 178 is your next major support eventually. Okay. Star Peak. I think I was looking at this over the weekend maybe. I don't think it could be a harmonic though. I think your support's like 24.46 from this candle low, and then your resistance like $36. So you're at the bottom of not really like a range, but just like a support and a resistance. I just don't really see any divergence. Again, potential double bottom, sure. If you can hold over 24.46, you're good. I'm using TradingView to chart. Yeah, got 45 people in here. I'm trying to help out however I can. So if you want me to look at something for you, drop a ticker, something that's, you know, consistent, not a pump and dump stock, not a super low volume gappy stock, something that technicals can work on, right? So I'm just trying to help out however I can. And if you appreciate the stream, if you want to support what I'm doing, you could just hit that like button. You could subscribe. If you want to send me a tip, that's the pinned chat. It'll pop. You'll get like a stream pop-up if you do send a tip. If you want to join premium alerts, I put out like 4 or 5 premium alerts today. One of them was up, I think, like 5% after hours. That's the first link in the description if you want to join that. I appreciate the 32 likes. Let's try and get a 40 likes. Get some vibes in the chat. Let's get that community engagement. How's everybody doing? I know a lot of the time I'm just like chart after chart after chart, but I like to talk to everybody. So yeah, Boeing MACD, take a look at it. This was a trade, I'm pretty sure, but I think with the market volatility one day, I kind of took profits earlier or something. Which of course it went crazy. But if you, again, for the people who were here back in January, literally put out a video on it. I talked about it for a whole entire week. I was so bullish on travel stocks back in the middle of January, and pretty much all the travel stocks have just done very well. And obviously Boeing. We did look at EBON. Let me just look at it again. You want me to look at the 4-hour long ticker? I'll come back to Boeing in a second. Yeah, we did. I already charted the hidden bullish divergence. So yeah, let me just delete the chart on Boeing. We're saying 4-hour divergence. Yeah, hidden bullish divergence, very close to being confirmed. The MACD and RSI. So that looks pretty decent. I mean, your support is 243. If we look at this, 243.79 was your high over here. Go way back in time. It's kind of your resistance over here. It was more like 241 back over here in 2017. But yeah, I mean, as long as you're over like 240, hidden bullish divergence is developing. So going, and the next resistance, I mean, like truthfully 291, but of course that would take a while and you still would need to break this high over here. And it's already been going crazy. I mean, this is not really like a textbook cup and handle. I mean, maybe it could be. I don't know if this was too deep. Let's see. Yeah, you pretty much came right down to the 0.50. Yeah, that was pretty much a cup and handle, now that I see that. So we have here Viacom. Tough situation there. AMRS, EXPR, Snapchat. So yeah, Viacom, yikes. I think your support is $43. I was looking at this earlier today. 43 was kind of your high over here in 2019, and it was your lows in 2018 over there. Kind of your lows in 2015 as well. So you just want to hold 43, but like from a technical standpoint, whenever you have something that's going straight down or straight up like this, that's not really where most technical swing traders swing trade. Maybe if you go down to like lower time frames, you could make like a day trade, something like, yeah, I mean, if you look at the 1 hour, after just non-stop dumping, finally finding some support at a place that makes sense, right? I just showed you on the higher time frames why it makes sense, and some local divergence for sure. Looks pretty similar to FUBO. So I mean, look at it over here as well. Look, 43, right, that I was showing you from like years ago was your resistance and your support. It was also your support in 2021 in January. So that is your level that you want to hold, 42.88, give or take, you know, it's not going to be exact, but around there. AMRS. No edge on the 4 hour or the daily. Sorry, I have no clue about this one. I mean, maybe just something like this. It's like your demand line. I mean, something like that, I guess. Ascending broadening wedge, maybe. It's not perfect. A little bit tough. EXPR. No edge on the daily or the 4 hour. You're at a pretty important area. 399. Okay, so you close right at 399. That was your candle high back in February 25th, I think. It was your support in 2020 January, and it was your support. Whoa, I'm zooming in like crazy. Sorry. It was your support in 2019 or March 2019. So you're at a make or break area, like literally right where it closed. Snapchat. Wow. Snapchat looks pretty interesting. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Who requested this? Bricey boy. So you're showing some 4 hour classic bullish divergence developing. Potential classic bullish divergence on the daily, but you need it to start going back down where it's green. But on the 4 hour, you are showing some divergence developing and pretty easy to manage your risk. As long as you can hold above 48.26, you're good. 48.26 is your support, give or take, all right? I think this will be the last one for tonight, I guess. AR. Your support's 37, okay? 37 was your kind of your highs over here in August of last year, and then your highs in March of last year. So as long as you're above 37, you're good, right? But this thing's going like nuclear. Just went right up from, well, not crazy. I mean, just went from 32 to 38. It's not like a crazy move, but yeah, 37 is what you want to hold, all right? But yeah, I don't know. We covered so much in like 50 minutes or like 45 minutes or whatever. We covered Bitcoin, futures, the market indices, the ongoing trades, a bunch of tickers for all of you. Futures right now are lower. Nasdaq futures are down 0.21%. S&P futures down 0.09%. Steven says, thanks, let's turn the week around. Absolutely. It's not a bad start. I mean, well, with the start to the week, a lot of the ongoing trades from last week, they were already down, and then with the red day today, they just fell a little bit more. But most of the trades I did put out today are still around their entries, but hopefully regardless, we can have a much better week than last week, which was my worst week in 5 months. So yeah, to that. And yeah, Steven, thank you for all the support. Thank you for the $5 tip. If anybody else wants to send a tip, that's the pinned chat. If you want to join premium alerts, that's the first link in the description. Thank you, Cheddar Freeze, for always helping out with the links in the chat. And yeah, I don't know. Vibes coming in from Scrooge. Doing. Just still around the same price. Cryptos are pretty flat right now. We were looking at OMG last night. Wow, it's going crazy. TNT looks pretty interesting. Got some hidden bullish divergence developing daily. Not much on the 4 hour. The Dogecoin stuff. So I haven't looked at Dogecoin. It's not months, but it's kind of range bound right now. Ethereum had a very Ethereum had a very nice day. Look at this crypto. What's OXT up to? But yeah, I don't know. Look, we got through a lot. I don't want to like end it here. It's just like a lot got covered. Maybe I should just start speaking slower because I'm covering the same amount of stuff I would cover, but I'm doing it so much quicker. Like, I don't know if I'm just speaking faster or if there's just less things to talk about, but streams are just so short. Like, I don't want to end it right here. So, but it's just like, also at the same time, I've been looking at charts all day and I don't want to do ticker. I don't want to do like a bunch of different tickers for like another half an hour. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to answer questions. If you have any questions, I'm completely down for that. So if I have any questions about trading, let me know. Futures continuing to drop. Walmart broke above resistance. Yeah, Walmart's looking. I like how Walmart looks. NASCAR, that's just not. You're correct. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Good job. It's just not how I trade. Like I said every night now. Whereas I had a limit order at 644 and it filled at 91. Is this typical for low floaters, or it's just because Robinhood sucks? Well, if you had a limit order for 644 and it filled at 591, that's actually probably like a good thing, right? Because you got it like literally what, 10% lower or so. But that's probably a pretty low volume stock. I'm not sure if that's one of the trades. Typically on the trades, I try and make sure that their volume's over, a good amount, that they're not going to be doing that. I was trying to check that. So I'm not sure what stock it was, but that's never happened to me. Oh, stop orders set. Oh, that's bad then. If you have a stop limit order, it should never, if it's a limit order, it should never fill at a different price than what you entered. That's just not how it works. It's a limit order because that's the price it'll fill at. So that's never happened to me either. I would understand if that happened on if you do like a stop market order on like a very low volume stock, but that's very weird. I'm not the person who can really answer that. Probably gonna have to reach out to Robinhood support, and from what I've heard, they like take weeks to respond. Stuff. Yeah. Hopefully everybody had a good day. Best of luck trading tomorrow. We'll see how things go. still think there's a lot of value all over the place in the market. You just got to do your homework, find where the value is going towards, where the money is going into, and try your best every single day. And yeah, have a great night. Thank you for all the support. If you ever want to support what I'm doing, just hit the like button, show up to the streams, hit the subscribe button. That's more than enough. But if you ever do want to send me a tip, that's the pinned chat. If you want to join Premium Alerts, that's the first link in the description. So thank you very much for everything. Have a great night. I wish I covered things so quickly, so I don't even understand it. I don't know. It's like we've already covered so much. Futures are bouncing a little bit. Scrooge says, so FLNT from December 17th to March 23rd. Can you specifically tell me why it's not hitting bullish divergence in RSI? Learning purposes. I got you, Scrooge. All right, sure. Let's see, FLNT. So from December 17th, 2020. So that was right over here. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So what you're looking at is this. You're trying to do this, right? The thing here, though, is you're ignoring this. You're ignoring this island, right? For divergence, all that matters is your previous two islands, okay? Of course, you can get quadruple divergence, but if you do get quadruple divergence, you need all the islands to be doing the same thing, right? This is quadruple divergence, where from this one to this one to this one to this one, your line's going down. But technically, all you really needed for the divergence was just these two islands. These additional ones just strengthen your argument. That's on the DCPH trade. But if we're coming back to Flint, you can see, yes, all of these islands they're making lower lows. If you go from this low, right, to the next one to here, yes, it's going downwards from this island to this one to this one. However, on the middle island, right, this invalidates it. Why? Because like I said, only your previous two islands matter, okay? So if we just do this, if we go from the swing low from this island to the swing low on this current island, right, you can see there's no divergence because the price and the MACD are doing the same thing. They're both going down, right? This island to that one, you went down in negative momentum, and then from this one to this one. To get the divergence, you would have had to have made a higher low. So if this dip in the price, when it dipped, it came like all the way down here, and then it went back up, and you made a higher low from your previous swing low to this one, then it would be hitting bullish divergence, right? So divergence, you have to have your two previous lows doing the opposite thing. But again, that doesn't mean it can't bounce without divergence. You're around the 200-day moving average. It's just, I think the major support here is 370. However, this is a very, very volatile stock. It goes crazy. So, yeah. But hopefully that answers your question. Just from like a more general standpoint, of course, anything can happen to an individual one. So yeah. Oh yeah, good reminder. Cheddar Freeze, I believe Friday, Good Friday. Market's closed. So yeah, everybody have a great night. Thank you for all the support. See you tomorrow at 9 p.m. EST. Peace out.